Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Franklin from Couples Talk. On today's video, I want to quickly talk about how to attract the right partner as a single person. Now, something I've discovered over the years with a lot of people is that, from time to time, there is always these delays in marriage, and then there's always this question of how do I attract the right partner? How do I attract the right partner? And in most cases, different methods has been preached. Okay, there are people who have written several books. Okay, but on today's video, I just want to give you a quick tip, something that is not tedious. Okay, it is not tedious, it is not stressful, but I'm telling you, if you will abide to this, it will go a very long way to help you. Now, if this is your first time of coming to this channel, on this channel I talk about love, marriage, relationship, and everything in between. Basically, this channel is a faith channel that helps you in the area of your marriage and how to do it the right way. Okay, both as a married couple and also as a single who is also a believer. If these are the kind of things that interest you, just consider subscribing. Now, first thing that I want to address here are the general mistakes that singles make. First, they make a list and say, I want someone who is intelligent, someone who is reasonable, someone who is decent, someone who is God-fearing, someone who is tall, someone who has a good character, someone who listens, someone who is able to show empathy, someone who has money, someone who is a graduate, someone who is this, someone who is that, someone who is not hot-tempered, someone who will not hit his or her hands on me, someone who is able to serve me dinner in the bed and all that stuff. There are lots and lots of people, singles out there who make lists like this, and after they finish making the list, they begin to wait and then they begin to wish that these things will come to pass. And in the long run, when it does not come to pass, they end up compromising, and then they change the list, and this time around, they just want anything. But it shouldn't be that way. Listen carefully. There's nothing wrong with making lists. I've given that counsel before. But something you've got to understand is this. While you are making a list of someone you want to get married to, someone whom you think will be the right life partner, there are certain principles you must follow in making that list. Number one, that list should not be made carnally. Things like the person has to be beautiful, the person has to be tall. What if the person God has destined for you is not so tall, not short? So because your mind is already on someone who is tall, you will not be patient enough to look at the person that God has actually brought your way. There are lots of people who have missed their life partner because of this. So the first thing that you've got to do is avoid making that list carnally. The list is something that you should make based on God's word. God's word should be, the determining factor. You get the point now. God's word should be the determining factor. That's number one. Number two, when you make such list, okay, you should submit that list to God. And then when you submit that list to God, God will begin to minister to you on certain things that you should change. So these basic are the two key principles that you must follow when you're making the list. Now, that is not even the key thing I want to share with you today. What I really want to share with you today is, having made that list, what next? Do you just fold your hands? No, you shouldn't fold your hands. That is not how it ought to be. You get the point now. You shouldn't fold your hands at all. What you need to do after you've made that list is not even to start praying. I know you must have heard, I've even taught it also, that when you've made the list, you begin to pray. No, it's not even prayer that you need to start doing now. It's to begin to live that list. Yeah, you heard me right. Because see, like will always attract like. You cannot say, I want a partner who would talk to me with respect. and you don't talk to people with respect, it's not going to happen. Just forget it. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you. You will, at the end of the day, attract your kind of person. That's the truth. You will attract your kind of person. Now, do not mind the noise. Okay, my kids are just having a glorious time out there. Okay, but I needed to make this video at all costs because it's been a very long time. So what I was trying to say is, after you've made the list, begin to leave the list. You don't say, oh, I want someone who is calm-tempered, someone who is not hot-tempered, and yet you are hot-tempered. It's not going to happen. You will always attract your kind of person. If you are hot-tempered, you will attract a hot-tempered person. If you are cool-headed, you will attract a cool-headed person. This is how it works. That's the truth. You will always attract your kind of person. You cannot be a club-loving person, a party-going person, and then you're looking for a God-fearing girl or for a God-fearing man. It's not going to happen. A God-fearing person can only locate you in a God-fearing place. You cannot say, I want a young lady with a good character. I want a young man with a good character, and yet you have a bad character. You cannot say, I want someone who is quick to forgive, and yet you are someone who do not forgive. It's not going to happen. Listen carefully. The earlier you begin to face this reality, the better for you. You will always attract your kind. That's the truth. You will always attract your kind. And at the end of the day, you will settle down with someone who thinks like you, who do things just the same way you do it. Because like will always attract like. Maybe you're believing God for a God-fearing partner. Begin to work on yourself now to become a God-fearing partner, because it is only a God-fearing partner that will end up with a God-fearing partner. Do not forget, the person you become, listen carefully, the person you become is the same person you are going to attract. If you smoke as a young lady, you will attract men who smoke. Listen carefully. Understand this. If you smoke as a young lady and you are looking for a young man who does not smoke, it's not going to happen. You know why? The young man who does not smoke, there's a reason why he does not smoke. He doesn't smoke because he doesn't like it. Now, what makes you feel he's going to like you who smokes? Something that he does not do on his own. Same thing with young ladies too. So what I'm trying to communicate here is, after you've made your list, before you start praying, begin to leave that list. Begin to become the person you have written on that list, because when you become that person, you cannot say, oh, I want a man by 10 o'clock maximum, he's already back home to his family, and yet you still love nightlife. The people you are going to meet in those nightlife, who do you think they are going to be like? You think they're going to be homely? Of course, you will not meet a God-fearing person around that 1 o'clock in that club. You're not going to meet such person there. You probably meet such person in a night vigil somewhere. What am I trying to say here? Be the person you want to attract. When you become that person, then that kind of person will begin to look for you. That is how it works. Now, having made the list, here comes the important one. You begin to pray. The reason for prayer is because prayer would help you to dismantle every evil agenda in that area of your life. Make no mistake about it. One of the reasons delayed marriages happen is not necessarily that is how it ought to be. No, most of the time, delayed marriages, they are sponsored by demonic attacks. They are sponsored by spiritual warfare. They are sponsored by wickedness. And of course, there are times when it could be God's plan because of the purpose He has for your life. But then it is in prayers you are able to discern exactly what is happening. Is it an act of wickedness, or it is a plan of God? If it is a plan of God, God will reveal it to you. He will let you know that this is the number of time you're going to stay before you get married. You'll be relaxed and you will take out time to just wait. You get the point now? So having made the list, the next thing you need to do is to pray. And you have to pray committedly. You have to be strategic. It's not something you just do once in 3 months, once in 6 months. You are not serious. And if you're thinking that it will just happen of its own accord, no. For every project in your life, you must learn to pray. Marriage is a project. It goes beyond love. It is a project. It's a life project. Because the one thing is for you to come in contact with the person. Another thing is for both of you to be in love. Another thing is for the both of you now to be able to plan the marriage. The planning of the marriage is a project on its own. And the only way you'll be able to achieve this is grace, and that grace can be given to you in the place of prayer. So I want to encourage you, there are ways to do this. If after you've done all these and there are still delays, then wait. Don't wait under pressure. Just wait and let the plans of God unfold in your life. If there is one thing you must get out of this very video, no matter how bad it gets, don't make decisions under pressure. Don't take actions under pressure. Remember, when the life partner comes, you will always know. That's how it works. You get the point now? So that will be all for this very video. I trust and I believe that you have learned something. Let me know what resonated with you. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you've gotten from this video. Share with your friends. Share with your family members, those who are single, those whom you know they need to hear these words. It will go a very long way to help them. This is one thing that is hardly talked about today, and I just took out time to expose it, and I believe that it will help someone out there. You get the point now? So that will be all for this very video. I will speak to you in the next one. Until then, take it one step at a time. Okay? All right. I'll see you in the next.